Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. So again, it's another beautiful Sunday and I'm out here in the bee yard. It's November 13th, just after 12 noon. Temperature is right at 63 degrees and the humidity is right around 53%. And this might be the last time I have an opportunity to get into the hives for at least the next week. So let's talk about that real quick. So Monday's low is going to be 35 degrees and the high is going to be 54, so that won't really be a great day to get into the hives. Tuesday would be better, however, I'll be at work. The low on Tuesday is 40 and the high 65. And then Thursday, this is when the cold weather really starts to set in. Thursday's low is 34 degrees and the high is 49. One last thing about the weather. So the weather stats that I give, the initial weather stats, with it being 63 degrees right now and the humidity right around 53%, that's based off of our Accurate 5-in-1 backyard weather station, which is right outside the house. So between the house and the bee yard. From here, as the crow flies, maybe 30 to 40 yards, give or take. So the reason I wanted to bring some attention to that is because the other weather stats that I provided come off the weather app on the iPhone, which I believe is fueled by the weather station or the weather channel. And there is about a 5-degree difference between the weather app and our backyard app, which is why we like the weather station, the Accurate backyard weather station. So before anybody thinks it's on the colder side to get into the hives, hopefully y'all can see that, but they are flying. They are taking advantage of the weather. The hives are very, very active. Now, I just inspected them last week, so this week I don't plan on doing much. In fact, I have 2 hives, I believe, that have ventilated inner covers. So I'm gonna swap them with solid inner covers, because this time of year, and especially with the weather that's coming, the name of the game is temperature control. So you want the hives to have a stable internal temperature. And although the ventilated inner covers are nice for the summer when it's really, really hot, this time of year could have adverse effects. So I'll be removing those 2 again, replacing them with solid inner covers. And then the hives, which is only 2 of them, the second hive and the 4th hive, I'm gonna pop the tops on them, take a look at the top hive feeders, and if they are empty, meaning they don't have any food, I'll remove those as well. All right, that does it for the intro. Let's get into some of the hives, remove the top feeders, remove the inner covers, the ventilated inner covers, and that'll pretty much be it for the week. I did order some Bee Pro, some pollen substitute, yesterday or last night, which will be here later in the week. So I'll have a video coming up. Plan on doing some open pollen feeding next weekend, and I might whip up some pollen patties and add them to the colonies probably next week. All right, let's get into the hives and do a few quick things. I'm not going to have them open for too long because it is relatively cool, especially here in the shade. And that'll be it for this week. All right, down here with the hive in the second position, just like I said in the intro, really interested just to see if they've used up all the feed in the last week, and it looks like they have. I'm sure we'll have some warm water. I'm sure we'll have some warm weather coming up after next week, which is very normal for this time of year, but because of the warm weather that we do have coming up, I'm going to remove this feeder. There's probably a good amount of bees underneath of it. Yeah. So I'm just going to set it right next to the hive. They'll find their way back into the hive. And for this time of year, I put the inner cover entrance towards the back, and then when I place the top cover on, you just slide it all the way forward and it closes off that entrance, so the bees only have the main entrance to use. All right, so pretty easy. I'm gonna get down into the hive in the 4th position and do the same thing. Pop a few tops because I know number 7 has a ventilated inner cover, and I'm pretty sure another hive does, but I don't remember which one right now. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna do today, just like I said in the intro. I didn't get into hive number 1 at all. I thought about it to check their food stores, but since I don't plan on feeding them, I don't think that's very necessary right now. They're extremely active. Bees are bringing in some nice pollen. Actually, let's do something real quick. Not scientific at all because I don't have a scale, but yeah, they have some pretty nice weight to them, so I'm not concerned for number 1. But yeah, I'm just going to get into the rest of the hives, like I said in the intro again. Do a few things, and that'll be it for the week. All right, well, I didn't have to go far because the hive in the very next position, hive number 3, has a ventilated inner cover that you'll see here in a second. So like I said, I'm just gonna take this inner cover off, set it in front of the colony so the bees can find their way home quickly. And I'm kind of short on inner covers, so I'm just going to use this migratory cover, and that's it for number 3 this week. All right, down here at hive number 4, or the hive in the 4th position, second one with a top feeder on, and this kind of caught me by surprise, but they have a decent amount of feed left, and you can see some bees, they're on it, they're taking it, but I'm gonna have to go back to the house and grab a mason jar, and I think what I'm gonna do is get the feed into the mason jar, invert it, actually use that 5-gallon bucket that I keep my pine straw in, put it over here, invert it, put it on top a queen excluder, which is one of the ways I open feed, and just put it kind of away from the bee yard so it won't create any robbing issues, and just open feed whatever bees want to take it. So I'm gonna have to pause on removing the top hive feeder since it still has some feed into it. So with that said, let's get down into number 7, replace the ventilated inner cover with the solid inner cover, and then I'll have to resume in a few minutes once I get a mason jar so I can feed them. All right, down here at 7. Let's be pretty quick, just like the last one. Give you all a quick look. This hive has done extremely well since the end of July, which I believe is when I found their current queen and got her marked when Paul came over from Warden's farm to do a joint inspection. All right, let's get the top off, or the inner cover. Same thing, just rest it towards the front of the hive. Solid inner cover, that should help retain some heat. And that's that. All right, got a mason jar, queen excluder. I got the open feeder area set up. So let's see, let's remove this top hive feeder, set that aside. Get the hive closed up, and then figure out what to do with the feed. And actually, the underside of the migratory cover is pretty moist, so crap. Because of that, I'm gonna swap that one out with a dry one, just so we're not adding unnecessary moisture back to the hive. All right, quick look. I don't want to have them open too long, but looks like they're using the feed. Decent amount of bees in the top box. Ran into this issue before. Some of the inner covers, or I'm sorry, some of the migratory covers I made very tight fit, or the wood has warped over the years. Not really sure what the issue is. But as long as it's nice and tight. All right, let's get the feed moved into the mason jar, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. All right, there you have it. They had just about a full quart of sugar water left. All right, so let's walk this way. For those of you that have watched older videos and maybe subscribed for a while, you'll recognize this is my old entrance. So I've done this in the past quite often. Just get a queen excluder, and that makes the perfect stand for open feeding bees. And then I'm trying to do this with one hand, but all you have to do is invert the jar. It'll create a vacuum, so it'll stop dripping here in a second, and plenty of space for the bees to access the sugar water. All right, I'll keep an eye on this for the next few hours. It probably won't take them long to find it, since it's maybe 10 yards from the hives. And I'll show you later today. Give it a few hours, like I said. Try to come out here right before sunset and see if the bees found the open feeder. All right, looks like all the bees are off the ventilated inner cover from 7. Just a few bees, we'll walk down there. A few bees still hanging out on the bottom side of the top feeder from number 4. A few bees still hanging out on the ventilated inner cover from 3, and a few bees still left on the inner cover from number 2. So yeah, let's do that. I'll give all the hives a few hours to kind of settle down, make their way back into the colony from the ventilated inner covers and the top hive feeders, and then I'll give it a few hours and check on the open feeder over there and show you all if the bees found it. If they don't find it today, they'll probably find it tomorrow. But yeah, that's it for today. Like I said, very simple stuff. I didn't want to get into the hives for any sort of in-depth inspection, since I just did that last week. However, if you didn't catch last week's videos, I got a few interesting things going on. Number 3, the hive in the 3rd position down there, and I believe number 5, both have, well, I was going to say both have new queens. Number 3, I moved 4 queen cells from number 4 down into that hive two to 3 weeks ago. They are all hatched out. And then number 5, I was looking back through some of my Instagram posts. Number 5, I posted a picture of a beautiful queen cell. You could see the royal jelly. You could see the larva sitting in the royal jelly. And 2 to 3 weeks later, maybe 2 weeks later, that cell completely developed, and I am 100% confident a queen hatched out. It wasn't chewed out from the side. The bottom that was discolored, completely open, so it looks like a queen hatched out. So that is something I need to keep my eye on. Never in my life would I have thought I would have colonies superseding their queens in late October. A few people commented on those posts, you know, like time of year, drones, and all that stuff. So you need drones, for those of you that don't know. You need drones for new queens to mate, right? And coincidentally, I've actually seen drones in several of the colonies this late in the year. So I don't know what to tell y'all. Been doing this for 5 years. Don't know everything by a long shot. Still learning. Every time you get into your hives, you learn something new. So given the time of year, finding queen cells developing and hatching, finding drones, a lot of the standard beekeeping textbook info is slowly adjusting. So I'll keep y'all posted. Interesting stuff to me. Might be interesting to some of y'all out there. But yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, everybody. Cole's Farm here in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Again, mid-November. Weather right now is nice, but we finally have some actual cold winter weather coming our way. I don't know how long it's going to stay, so I'll keep you posted on that as well. But we definitely have some temperatures hovering right above freezing, and some of the highs this coming week. It's not an ideal time to get into the bees, so that's why I'm out here. That's why I did the things that I did this week in preparation for next week, and we'll just see how it goes week by week. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. All right, quick follow-up on the open feeder. It's been just over 4 hours since I put it here. Highly doubt I'll find any bees on it because, yeah, the temperatures dropped to about 56 degrees right now. So I didn't think I was gonna find any on the feeder just yet, but I'll keep an eye on it over the next few days. Most of the bees have probably settled in. Yeah, they've settled in. So good time to collect the woodenware, put that away, and that's it for today.